The IRS somehow, thanks to Joe Manchin, the moderate from West Virginia, the IRS somehow has the dough to hire 87,000 new employees, and they're coming for you. They didn't hire those people by accident. They hired them to take more of your money. So businesses who have to forecast for a living have seen this coming, and they're preparing to cut workers. And so what this looks like, if you take 3 steps back, is an economic death spiral. Ahead of Christmas shopping season, when Amazon usually adds employees, Amazon is now laying off employees, a lot of them. 10,000 people laid off from Amazon. And the founder of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, is actually encouraging people, his customers, not to buy his products. Watch this.
The economy does not look great right now. Things are slowing down. You're seeing layoffs in many, many sectors of the economy. People are slowing down. The probabilities say if we're not in a recession right now, we're likely to be in one very soon. If you're an individual and you're thinking about buying a new, large screen TV, maybe slow that down, keep that cash, see what happens. Same thing with a refrigerator or a new car or whatever. Just take some risk off the table. If you're a small business, maybe delay some capital purchases. Do you really need that new piece of equipment? Maybe it can wait a little bit. Have some cash on hand. Just a little bit of risk reduction could make the difference for that small business if we do get into even more serious economic problems. So you got to play the probabilities a little bit.
Wait, so the guy who sells big screen TVs on the internet is telling his customers, the source of his personal wealth, not to buy big screen TVs off the internet? Really? That's how worried he is. He actually, for maybe the first time ever, is caring about you. Well, that's quite amazing. And he's not the only one. Bezos is not the only one who's worried that something bad is about to happen to our economy, the global economy. In October, the IMF warned that 2023 will bring a recession for most of the world. That same month, the CEO of JP Morgan, the country's biggest bank, Jamie Dimon, said a recession is almost certain in the coming months. So what do you do to avert a disaster? Well, you probably can't stop it. You should know what its outlines will look at. Take a look at the housing market if you want to know. Home sales are at their lowest level in a decade. As the Fed raises interest rates to fight inflation, mortgages become too expensive. But if the Fed were to cut interest rates, home prices would go up along with inflation. You see the problem here. We've reached the end of monetary policy's ability to tweak our economy. So faced with all of this, the one thing you'd hope is to have an administration that understands what the problem is and might at least be interested in fixing it and taking care of the middle class, people who don't have a margin, people who are on the bottom. They're always the subject of our concern. What do you do about the homeless? What do you do about people who make $80,000 in the New York suburbs? Nobody cares about them. Here's Joe Biden explaining with a straight face that actually everything's fine. His economic plan is working.
Folks, my economic plan is showing results. The people are starting to feel it. We're making progress on bringing down inflation without losing jobs. Folks are seeing much needed break in inflation at the grocery store as we head into holidays.
So that's pathetic, and everyone knows it's pathetic, and maybe the only upside of the Biden administration is that there's really no lying at this point. This isn't working. They just did better than expected in the midterms, the Democratic Party, unfortunately. But we're now facing the next election in 2024, and no sane person wants Joe Biden to run because everybody gets that this is unsustainable. Even the media gets that at this point. So the question is, who replaces Joe Biden, and what can that person do about the disaster that